Hey, what's up guys, it's Cher, and it's been a quick minute, but Why? Hey, what's up guys, it's Cher, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello, nice to meet you, it's all fun and games here. So today, I have been waiting on doing this video because I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to settle in and feel good about it. So it took me a minute and I didn't do it right away. But today we're going to do a movie review on the Fallen movie based on the series by Lauren Kate with the same name. How cute is this? Just God. Okay. So what I ended up doing is I bought the movie on Amazon. It was $19.99 and I bought it, I think, literally the day it came out. I think it was October 2nd. It came to me a few days after that because I have Amazon Prime, you know. And I was really scared. I was so scared because if you remember, I actually did a review on the whole book series a couple months back when I found out the movie was being created in the first place and the trailer dropped. I was super excited, and the thing is, I read these books when I was in the 7th and the 8th grade, and I never touched them again. I read them and then I totally kind of forgot about them, but as soon as I saw the promo photo for Fallen, I remembered exactly what it was: Cam, Daniel, Luce, and the whole love triangle, and just the whole story of it all. And I was always so mesmerized by it, when I was a lot younger. So it was so cool to come back to it and reread it and then anticipate for the movie. I was so excited. I was so excited for this film. I really was anticipating it and I was so excited. So I went ahead and I bought it and I watched it the same day, as soon as it came. I ripped it open and I put it on. And I was so entranced by it. It's a really good film. And the thing is, I thought this was going to be in theaters, and it ended up not being in theaters, or at least not in my area. I live in Michigan, and it was never in theaters. I never saw the commercial for it on TV or anything. I had to literally keep going to Lauren Kate's Instagram and her website to make sure that it was still gonna come to us, because I felt like I had been waiting a while, and then when you don't have the trailers and stuff to hype you up on TV every 5 seconds, you really have to pay attention to it yourself. So I thought I had missed it when it came out, but I came back just in time. Now, one thing I will say, I really wish this would have been in theaters. I really wish that they would have gave this more hype, because I feel like this movie could have actually done really well in the box office. But I have noticed whenever they turn books into when they take books and turn them into movies, they don't do as well anymore. Think about Beautiful Creatures, Vampire Academy, and so on and so forth. Those movies haven't done well. We haven't had a big book movie franchise since The Hunger Games, and I think probably the people making it were a little afraid that would happen again. So I don't know how much money this movie made in the box office, but I personally feel like it could have done really well if they would have just hyped it up a little bit more. I really wish I could have saw this in theaters. I feel like that would have been really fun for me. So let's just get straight into the story. The love story that is Luce and Daniel. When I was in 8th grade and when I was in 7th grade and I was reading it for the first time, I was like, they have this beautiful, undying connection. Oh, this is so sweet and romantic. Oh, he doesn't like her, but he likes her, and she likes him, and she doesn't know why. I thought it was so cool, right? But now I am a 20-year-old girl. I'm older. I would like to think of myself as a little bit wiser, and the whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, why didn't this girl just pick Cam? Why didn't she just pick Cam? Because for me personally, I would have chosen Cam, if I was in Lucinda's shoes, just because I like his vibe better. And Daniel's a weirdo. But Daniel has been through a lot, because in the story we know that he has been watching Luce die every 17 years. He gets to be with her for a month, 2 months, and then they kiss and she bursts into flames and she's dead. And yeah, he's been through a lot. So when they first meet, she walks up to him, but one thing I like is that she always sees Cam first. So she saw Cam, he walked past her when she was coming into Sword and Cross, and then later that day she ran into Daniel. And he was sitting and he looked so beautiful. He was sleeping in the sunlight, and it was his skin was glowing, and he was an artist, and it was very hipster, but I was feeling it. And then she was she was just looking at him like that was the love of her life, and I felt it. The chemistry that all of these actors had within each other and within the characters was just so romantic, because I felt it. And I'm one of those people, I feel very deeply when it comes to my TV shows and my movies, and it's something that gives me true joy and value. So when I saw it, like, I felt it, and I felt it in my chest, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. But obviously, you know, Daniel, he wasn't really for it. He saw her, and he, like, got up, and he ran away, and he was, like, trying to avoid her as much as he could. But, like, Luce, of course, was still drawn to him, and she was still watching him, and, like, checking him out, and seeing, like, who his friends were and stuff. We also got to see, like, a lot of things were different from the book, but not necessarily different. A lot of things, I will say, were toned down. They brought up the chemistry and the hundreds of years together, 1,000 years they had been together, and they toned down everything else. And I'm not sure, well, I liked it personally. I'm not sure how everyone else is going to feel about it. Like, if you read the books and you love the books and were obsessed with the books, I don't know how you're going to feel about it, because it was actually really, this movie was low-key kind of chill, if you think about it, like, compared to the books anyway. Now, I love, so I'm going to talk about love the most, and then we can really get into the plot, and we can get into Todd, and we can get into Gabby, and we can get into everyone else. But, like, let's just talk about Cam for a moment. Now, I just want to say it loud and clear, Lauren Kate based Cam off of her husband. I remember reading that in, like, her interview, and I thought that was so enticing, and I also thought, like, that's why I liked Cam so much, because, like, he was kind of, like, regal and kind of dark, and he had, like, a mysterious past, and he was, like, super edgy and, like, super sexy. And the actor who played him took my breath away. Like, I looked at him, like, when he had the lollipop in his hand and he was looking back at Lucinda, I was shook. Homegirl was shook. I was like, oh my god, who is this man? And Cam took my breath away. I forget what his name is. I think his name is Harrison. I'm like 99% sure that his name is Harrison, and Harrison is fine as hell if that's his name. If it's not, honey, I am so sorry. I still love you. Marry me. Okay? I was so obsessed with Cam as a character, and I love that Cam finally, like, had a face for me. Like, he had a vibe and, like, a vision, and, like, he was so cool, and, like, he didn't go to class, and, you know, he bought Lucinda food, and, like, he was so smooth. So, like, when they were sitting down and they had skipped class, he put the bag of food next to Lucinda, and then he was sitting across from her, so then he'd have to, like, get really close and lean in and, like, be able to look at her as he's grabbing the food, kind of to, like, shake her and have her a little shook. And, I mean, it worked. It had me shook. I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Like, it was wonderful. It was wonderful, let me tell you. Now, Daniel is a tragic soul. He has been watching the girl he loves live and breathe and die over and over and over again for millennia, it feels like, to him. And when he sees Luce again for the first time, like, you can see, like, when he's sitting in the chair and he had just woken up from being asleep, like, he goes through, like, the awe and the beauty of seeing her again, the happiness, and then pushing himself back, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to hang out with her. I'm not going to talk to her. So he, like, storms off and pretty much, like, walks away, and he's not here for it. And we're with Lucinda, and we're wondering, why did he just do that? You know, why is he acting like that? And obviously there's some type of connection between the two of them. Like, you can't look at someone like that and there not be a connection. And that's from both sides, from Daniel's side and from Luce's side. So as time goes on, we finally get to see them, like, kind of communicate, and they talk in the pool, and when we're in the pool, we get to see, like, kind of like his wings, like this weird, like, aspect of them in the water, and that was, like, so cool to me. And we got to see, like, the special effects and stuff, and when she's with Daniel, she gets glimpses of her past life, and she starts to, like, realize that there's something very vintage about Daniel, and something about Daniel makes her feel that way as well. Like, she's starting to, like, feel things and remember things, and, like, the shadows aren't really around her when she's with him, and I thought that was very cool. And I do really like the way Daniel and Lucinda are in this movie. It's really enticing. It's really enticing. Like, I vibed with it. Like, 100%. Now, Lucinda, oh, my precious Luce. This poor girl. So, she comes to Sword and Cross after the incident with a guy. There was a fire. She made it out and he didn't. And she's been seeing these shadows all of her life. And the shadows were so scary. Oh my god. In this film, the shadows were scary, and, like, electric. Like there was like this like electricity in them, like this, like I don't know how to explain it. Like the way that they were created, like the CGI and stuff was so cool, and it kind of scared me. And I was like, oh my god, I don't remember reading about the shadows being this creepy. And it was so like interesting to me. Like I really loved seeing them and like seeing her fear. And like when she was in the cabin and they were kissing and she saw the shadows and she was like, get away from me, the shadows are getting closer and closer and closer, I don't know what's happening. And then the fire. But I feel like this brought on a couple questions for me, because like the shadows never touched her or anything, but then she started to believe that the shadows had started the fire, and the shadows were only around in the first place because of her. I think the only thing I did hate in this movie was Lucinda's extensions, because you could always see her hair. Like they didn't blend well if she started to like swing her hair and stuff, and she did a lot of hair swinging in this movie, I won't lie. They should have just gave the girl a wig. And Addison, that's the girl who plays Luce, she is gorgeous. And when I first saw the picture, I didn't know, she didn't look like Luce to me. I was like, I don't know if that's Luce. Like, I don't know if I feel it. But as soon as you watch the movie and you get into it, you know that is like probably one of the best Lucindas they could have gotten. She took my breath away. I think my favorite part of the novel and the movie series was definitely the fire in the library. And when you got to see Luce's friendship with Penn, that was so cool to see on screen. Because Penn ended up being one of those pieces of Luce's puzzle this time around, in this lifetime. Penn was such a huge deal to her, and when Penn ended up dying, like, it really marked her for, like, who she was in the second book, and how, like, more cautious she was, and, like, how she wasn't necessarily open to making new friends and letting people get close to her, even though it wasn't her fault. Miss Sophia was wonderfully casted, because Miss Sophia was so sweet and so nice, and then, like, she came out of nowhere and was just slicing necks. It was scary. And I actually love that actress, because I saw her as the mom in Endless Love, and she was so warm and inviting, and I was like, oh, Miss Sophia's so nice. I almost forgot that Miss Sophia ended up being a bad guy. It was so well casted. It was so fun. Like, it's not fun watching someone die, but the actress is a fun actress, and she played it really well. That was excellent for me. It was excellent. I really liked the actress that played Penn. And when I first watched it, because I've watched it a few times now, I didn't understand. I was like, I don't know if that's my Penn. But as, like, I kept watching, I started to, like, really vibe with her. And I was like, okay, Penn, okay. I feel like I personally am a very judgmental person when something comes from a book series that I read and onto the screen. I'm always like, oh, that's different from the book. And that's different from the book. And Penn didn't look like that. One thing that bugged me, now correct me if I'm wrong, I remember Penn saying the reason she stayed at Sword and Cross wasn't because she had anything wrong with her, but because of the fact her dad used to work there and he died. So they just let her stay because that was the only family that she had. So they were like, let's just keep her at the school. But in the movie, they said that her parents just didn't care about her. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I could be remembering wrong, but if I am wrong, please let a girl know, because that's one thing that really got me, like, from, like, book to movie. I was like, I don't think that's right, but I could just be remembering wrong, but I don't think I am. The special effects in this movie was actually kind of awesome. I was kind of sad that I didn't get to see real wings. Like, I really wanted to see some really cool CGI white wings and gold wings, like super big, like 13 feet across, 14 feet across, super big and wide. But in this, they were these, like, glowy, like, feathers. Like, it wasn't even feathers, it was like symmetrical lines that make up, like, what feathers should be, what wings should be. And it kind of worked, because, like, angels are, like, these glowy, beautiful, like angels that mate with humans, like, so it kind of worked in a sense, and it kind of didn't. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see, like, realism. I wanted to see realism. I wanted to see realistic looking wings. Kind of like the Maximum Ride movie, but, like, 20, 30 times better than those, like, fake ass wings. And bigger wings. Like, that's probably, like, my only, like, irritation with this film. I was like, I wanted to see better wings. But the fight scene between Cam and Daniel was lit. Every conversation that Cam and Daniel had when it came to Lucinda was full of so much like tension and like rage, and it was like super sexy, and I was feeling it. And the thing is, I thought like love triangles were super played out, but this one was so chill. Like when I say that this movie was pretty chill, it was. Like you didn't feel a whole bunch of like animosity from these two boys over Lucinda. You felt like their anger and like their feelings towards one another and their feelings towards Luce, but it wasn't necessarily like overpowering and annoying. It wasn't like Twilight's love triangle, which I truly enjoyed, because a lot of people always compare, when you hear about a love triangle, you either think like Hunger Games triangle or Twilight triangle, and for this one you really think Fallen triangle. Like there's a huge difference between the three that I just stated, and I thought that was lit. So lit. This was a gorgeous film. Like, I really can't say that there's anything wrong with it, and I can't say that there's anything that they could have done better. There was nothing that they could have done worse. It was really good. And then when you buy the actual DVD, there's a lot of special features, which I love. I hate when movies don't have special features. The special features, you get to see Lauren on the set. You get to see like how the stuff was made. You get to see like the blue screen and the black screen. You get to see like how they did the motorcycle scene between Cam and Lucinda. And I just like, honestly, it was awesome. And I think one of the best parts of the film was that as Lucinda was remembering, you got to see flashbacks of her and Daniel and all of their lives together. You get to see them take like the photograph. You get to see them fencing. Well, I guess you wouldn't call it fencing. You'd call it swording. Fighting. Back in the day. And you get to see like all of these memories. And like when she talks to Daniel, she talks about how like she knows about this place in France that she's never been, because she's never been out of the country, and yet she remembers it. And I thought that was so fun, and I thought that was really cool. And I'm about to talk about the book. So this is where the actual movie review ends. And now we're going to just talk about like the comparisons between the two, because I loved this movie. And I think I liked it better than the book. And now I'm about to tell you why. Well, for one, Lucinda wasn't this crazy jealous girl, because in the book series, you saw her see Daniel and Gabby together, like, all the time. And she was so, like, upset by it. And she was, like, really emotional. Like, why is he always hanging out with Gabby? That was, like, not in the book. It didn't exist. You heard about it twice. You saw it twice. And that's it. That was it. That's all. And then it was, like, not talked about again. Daniel wasn't an asshole in this movie. Like, he wasn't. And in the movies, he was a dick. Like, he was a total dick. Like, he was rude to her. He was mean to her. He didn't talk to her. And then, like, one day he just came around. In this one, it was a lot of a softer transition. It was such a soft transition. And one thing what I said in my last review about, like, the entire Fallen series was that these books were written in, like, 2008, 2007. And that was a time where your main character was this girl who was like kind of awkward and didn't know how to talk to boys, and had like was really like insecure, and then she has this man telling her she's beautiful, and suddenly like she knows her worth. And in this movie it didn't feel like that, and that made me feel really good, because I didn't want to watch like an insecure girl fall in love with like the cute guy. And like honestly, that is so played out. And in this book it didn't feel like that. In this movie, I'm sorry, in this movie it didn't feel like that. It felt so warm and just like inviting, and I was like, hell yeah, this is good. Cam is beautiful, and I'm gonna keep saying that until the end of time. And I'm also gonna say I really hope that we get to see the rest of the series come to play in movies. I honestly hate when they make the first movie and then they just stop. I feel like if you start it, you might as well finish it. So I really hope that we get another film. Like, I will die for another film. Like, I would be so excited for another film. I love this love story, and I would love to see it come into play, especially, spoilers if you didn't read, like, the entire book series, when she goes into the announcers. Oh my god. If we can see, like, all of her lives and stuff, and when we get to see, like, different versions of Lucinda, like the Asian Lucinda and the Egyptian Lucinda, like, I will die. I will just fall on the floor and die. Because, oh my god, seeing that on screen, y'all, let me play Egyptian Lucinda, because hello. It was really good, like, and that's all you really need to know. Like, if you're really considering, like, buying the movie, watching the movie, or, like, even getting into the book series if you haven't before, I 100% suggest it. And, like, come back to this video, comment on it, and we can talk about it for real, because it was so good. It was fantastic. It was fantastic, and my mind will never change about it, because it's perfection. It was really good, and it's going to be one of those movies that I rewatch for the rest of my life. Hopefully I'll be able to rewatch all 4 forever and ever and ever and ever. And then if it does really well, maybe we can even get Cam's book, his movie too. Man, because I need to see more of my baby Cam. Whoever that actor is, fine. So fine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. It's all fun and games here, and I would really appreciate it if you guys let me know how you guys felt about the movie, if you've seen it, or if you've just read the book series. Please leave a comment below. Let's talk about it, because it's lit, you know? And I like, no one else gets as hyped for movies as I do. So, like, when I get to find my people here on YouTube, it's so much fun to, like, talk about it with you guys. So please leave a comment if you have one. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!